Good morning, everyone. It is January 21st, 2025, and we're having our Town of Rocky Mountain House regular council meeting. I will call the meeting to order at 9 o'clock, and we have an agenda in front of us. Has anyone got any additions or changes to the agenda? If not, just looking for a motion to accept it. Councillor Capero.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to adopt today's agenda as presented.
Okay, thank you for that motion. Any discussion on that motion? Call it to a vote. All those in favor? And that is carried. Moving on to item 3.1, we do have a delegation here from Mage Networks, and we have a presentation that they're going to do. So I will welcome you up to the front here, and just a reminder to press your red button when you are talking. And I believe Sayad, is that who's talking?
Thank you.
It's not PowerPoint, it's PDF.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
it's no problem.
Okay, thank you very much for having us. My name is Ciso Hamamsi. I'm the CEO of a company called Mage Networks. We're a small Calgary-based company who has developed its own technology for providing wireless service for internet access and other types of solutions. I have with me here Vince Nazari. He's our sales person in the area. And in the back, this handsome young man is Tim Holman, and he is our local technician supporting the whole Clearwater County, all the way down to Caroline. And when we deploy in Nordeg, he would also be covering that area. We are here because, as you may all know, Clearwater County has built a fiber network that is an infrastructure-style fiber network, which they hope to deploy further so that it actually delivers fiber to the home, to the residents of Clearwater County. But in the meanwhile, they opened access to the infrastructure to companies like ours, and Mage Networks was the first mover to take on that challenge. And we've deployed parts of our network and our service in Ferrier, in Caroline, and in other areas in between. And then we realized that because of the nature of our technology and the number of homes, we did a bit of marketing. We also realized that Rocky Mountain House would be a very good area for us to start deploying and offering services. So it came as a bit of an afterthought. Initially, we believed that, like all towns of this size, there would be very, very good service, but we found that there are gaps, and there are areas where, with our unique technology and offering, we can really do a good job. And so we're here to introduce ourselves to you as a company and as
What's the arrow? It's
you know, the down arrow, right?
Nope, the right arrow.
Right arrow. Okay. So here's. I'm supposed to be a technologist, but I guess I get caught like everybody else. So we're here to basically introduce ourselves and generate goodwill and awareness, not come and start to operate in the town and never say hi. So this is one of the reasons we're here. We always look at we do a lot of more like guerrilla type marketing, so we can't go big, we can't afford that. We door knock, we do things. So establishing connection in the community, including with the town council, is one of the things we like to do. And we do have a referral program. So if you are one of our customers and you refer your neighbors or friends and so on, and they sign up, you get $100 credit on your next month bill. And as I like to tell everybody, if you sign up 100 people, that means you get effectively $10,000 from us for that. So, go for it. There's no limit and no reason for us. So, going back, what is Mage? Why we're here? is I started off working in oil and gas, developing a wireless technology to collect data from seismic surveys. Very difficult terrain. The network had to be very easy to deploy and had to be very, very capable in terms of performance and so on, and also had to be wireless. Those of you who probably may have worked in the oil field would know that they used to do it with cables, and they 200 tons of cable being laid out over 25 miles. That's a lot of work, and they wanted to do it wirelessly, and we worked on that. Unfortunately, in 2014, when the oil prices crashed, everybody stopped exploring, so we had to repurpose the technology and the company. And my way of thinking was I was able to connect these geophones, which are located in very difficult places. Well, there's a lot of people living in very difficult places to connect. Can we extend the technology to do that? And we continued developing it. And unfortunately, I had a small video. I'm not going to be able to show it because the PDF video, I think, doesn't play. It's another technological goof on our part. But in any case, as I go through the presentation, we'll be able to explain. So it's a very high performance network. And it is wireless, but in a completely different way. So we do not rely on towers. We rely on relays that could be really small relays, could be on lampposts, could be on people's homes, could be on trees sometimes, on any structure that would take them. And we also sometimes plant our own poles when needed. The system, as you can see on the small picture there, could run on solar. Because the power consumption of the units is very small, we can actually run it on solar panels if we're going through very difficult terrain that doesn't have power access nearby. The most common way we deploy is using power poles, and we've got networks in Bragg Creek, we've got networks in Ontario, and we've got networks here in Clearwater County, and now in Rocky Mountain House. All we need is
Foremost as well.
And Foremost, sorry, I forgot. I knew I was forgetting something. So basically, the technology was all developed here. It's local, and we're trying, with COVID and everything, things got really delayed on our part from point of view of the development of the company and the growth of the company. And so this is a bit of a restart, but we've developed a lot of technology, and we use, like you would be amazed at how advanced we are for a bunch of guys and gals, hanging around in Calgary, really. We offer a unique solution, and it's really built on development of the concept, the software that goes along with it, how we make the devices do what we want to do, and the network we build, including the planning documents for it and so on. So from a technical perspective, it's really very novel, and it merges and works with all existing technology. So it's always an extension to anything that's already there. And with the Clearwater County Fiber, you can see it. They have infrastructure in the ground, but they didn't reach the customers. You layer on our service, and now you can reach the customers and actually give them the advantage of using that infrastructure that's in the ground. And generally, you'd be amazed at how much infrastructure is in the ground that's not being used. And Clearwater County didn't open access, so this is really good, and that's why we're here. And possibly there might be other competitors. But we also work with low Earth orbit satellites, things like Starlink, and in the future, Telesat from Quebec, and Amazon's Kuiper technology. We integrate with those, and we allow them to perform better than what they do on their own. When, for example, a low Earth orbit satellite, if some of you might have it at home or have a friend who's got a farm and uses that, and it's fantastic because it gives you internet in the house. But we also know that a lot of people in agriculture want to use Wi-Fi and access the internet when they're working on the field. They want to be able to monitor, they want to be able to do all that. Well, we actually can do that too. as one of the additional layers of what our company can offer. So that's the basis of the technology, and it's all about these small relays, and we use very high data rate equipment. So you'd be surprised, some of our units look like a small security camera, but it can do 1 gigabit per second or 1,000 megabits per second, which is really super high speed. It doesn't go terribly far, like it won't go 5 kilometers, but it'll go a kilometer and a half, and then we build another relay and another relay. And the way we do it, there's no loss of performance. So we could start at the at the Clearwater County POP here, which is near the offices, and we can build a data pipeline, we call it, that will deliver that service across very, very long areas. And here is one example that's actually operational. It's in Bragg Creek, and we're planning. So this Bragg Creek is the greenish areas, and the red one is Redwood Meadows. And we're planning to expand into Redwood Meadows this year using their lamppost. So as you can see, what do we use for the deployment is very varied and fits with where we're going. So in a town like Rocky Mountain House, we would probably mostly use homes and existing buildings. Sometimes the town is kind enough to offer us access to the rooftop of some of their buildings, and that allows us to build our relay structure and create this network that can cover the whole town. We have not yet come to the point where we may come to you and ask you for permission, but it might happen. It depends on the network. But in Bragg Creek, we were able to build our data pipelines combined, going north into Wintergreen and going west into West Bragg, combined cover 19.5 kilometers. And the customer who's at the end of that data pipeline will get the full level service that we offer, which is a residential service, which is 100 megabits per second download and upload. We offer unlimited data. We offer guaranteed streaming bandwidth, which means that we build our network and we don't overload it, so that if everyone's at home at the same time and everyone's watching Netflix, no one will buffer. That's actually a design standard we put on ourselves to meet, and it's guaranteed. When you compare with existing other stuff, even Starlink, which is probably the gold standard that everybody knows, Starlink can do 100 megabits download, but only 20 megabits upload. We do 100 megabits both down and up. So if you're running a home business, you're a videographer and want to upload your music, or we have in Bragg Creek, we have a painter who has a website who serves all his paintings, so he sells online. All these things, the upload is as important as the download. You may not use it often, but when you use it, you really want it there. And we talked with some people here, some businesses in Rocky Mountain House, and one of the guys we met, an engineer, has to upload his design files at the end of the day, and says sometimes it takes him 3 hours to do that. So he's already worked a full day, and he has to upload to the cloud, and he has to sit and wait for the upload to finish. So I'm interested in allowing him to go home right away. The other thing we can do, as I said, a little bit alluded to the agricultural technology, we can offer also a network where there's continuous Wi-Fi outdoor. And in Tabor, we did just that. We offered them a network, so you can see the various lines are the actual data pipelines. And within the data pipeline, there are Wi-Fi access points, outdoor Wi-Fi access points, and they cover in Tabor the whole area downtown and the area of their Confederation Park and an old people's home. So there's Wi-Fi everywhere when you walk around there. And they've had that network up since 2018. We've also worked with First Nations. Long Plain in Manitoba. We built a whole network there, and that carried them through the whole COVID era, where they were able to offer online schooling to their kids, gaming and everything they were doing. Their consumption of data was phenomenal. The average residence was using 1.5 terabytes. Usually when you get a plan that offers you 60 gigabytes or 100 gigabytes, and you think, okay, that's a lot. These guys were consuming 1,350 gigabytes, each residence. The beauty of it for us, for the network, because of the way we build it, we didn't care. It didn't bother us whatsoever. It didn't slow down the performance. So when we do offer, when we say unlimited bandwidth, there is no small print. There's no, well, the first 50 gigs, you get it at full speed, and then you'd go down to like, half a megabit per second or some silly thing like that. The pipe is open, it's just open, and we don't do anything. I mentioned ag tech. We demonstrated at Olds College by doing something which is, again, unique to us, where we have a Wi-Fi access point that is movable. So you put it on the combine harvester or on your tractor or whatever, and if you build the network that, like we have it here in this diagram, the tractor's continuously connected to the internet, and you're walking around or you're driving around with your own internet Wi-Fi access point, and you could get off the tractor and get away from it 200 meters away, and you'll still be connected. And those are in areas that have no other service available, not cellular, not anything. If you do that with Starlink, you could do it with a Starlink a unit on your tractor, but it costs you $180, I think, for the mobile units. And with us, it's part of your network. So what we do is you connect to your internet at home, and then your tractor is now connected through your home to the internet, and you don't need an additional service for every device. So anyway, and by the way, I will keep going. If you have any questions or anything, please interrupt me. Don't. I'm just, once they wind me up and I start going, I don't stop. So what are we doing in Clearwater County? We've partnered to use this the newly constructed fiber networks. And as they deploy, and I guess it's not necessarily relevant here because I don't know if the Rocky Mountain House itself is included. They have a funding for fiber to the home, but I don't know if they're just in the outlying county or if it includes Rocky Mountain House. But since we would be a provider of choice, our goal is to keep the customers we have now and transition them to fiber to the home and still continue to provide them service. So that's our game plan. We don't care if the service is through our technology or through another thing. As a service company, the technology is just secondary. It just allows us to do what we're doing, but it's not the end-all and be-all of the situation. We have another side of the business is about promoting the technology and selling it to other service providers so that they can use it too. But that's not what we're here for anyway. We have used different technologies to connect. So in Ferrier, there's a tower that's connected to the internet. So we use the tower to drop into Gates Trailer Park and other homes in Ferrier from that tower. And again, with very high data rates, so there's no degradation whatsoever. But we also used another concept, we call it prime fiber. So there are locations, and probably as you drive around, you might see those little pillboxes, greenish pillboxes that send. Once you start to see them, you will never unsee them, by the way. And they have them every so often along the fiber run. And those are places where we can connect to. And so we've connected one home to the fiber. We call them prime fiber. So it's at our expense. We connect them to the fiber, and they become a relay to serve the rest of the trailer park in Pinewoods. So that just gives you an idea of the variety of ways that we do to achieve the connectivity. And we're recently rolling out in Rocky Mountain House, and just I think yesterday, and he's going to complete. Not just a few days ago, Tim here connected Walking Eagle Hotel to the Rocky Mountain House Pop, and we're going to be able to deploy from there and provide service to businesses and homes and so on as we go forward. And then we're thinking of Nordegg in the future. I'm going to move quickly through this. Well, this is Caroline. Again, we were able to use the uniqueness of our technology. So they have this small point of presence near a hangar somewhere, and we were able to go from there with 2 data pipelines, one to hotel there and the other one to Roosters, hardware store, and from there we covered the whole town. And it was a very quick deployment once we got the permission to go on the point of presence and the permission from the various places. We were offering service within 2 weeks. And everybody's getting the 100 megabits per second that we promised. So it's easy to deploy, it's quick, it doesn't impact, it doesn't have a visual ugliness of those towers or anything like that. And it
Or
performs.
radiation. Sorry, did that slip out?
Yeah. If
You need to push the button if
just
you want
use
to
your
talk.
button if you
Anyway.
want to talk. Yeah, thank you.
So in Rocky Mountain House, here we are. We've built the one link that is in yellow from the thing to Walking Eagle, and then the rest of it we will be continuing. And as you can see, as we extend the data pipeline, we cover more and more areas. And hopefully we know that there's some newer developments across the river which don't have very good connectivity. So our goal is to eventually reach there and begin to provide service in those areas. And we expand as needed or as desired by customers. So it's not like we don't flood the whole area. We just do it in a targeted way. It's a little bit slow, but it's more fits better with the community, whether they want the service or not. Then we don't have to spend money if we don't have to. So, and the gist of the presentation, the service, symmetric speed, high speed, 100 megabits per second, no hidden fees, where I don't have money to spend on lawyers for fine print, so I don't. And the minimum bandwidth guaranteed. This is a unique feature from major networks. They always tell you what speed you're going to get at top speed, but they never tell you how slow you're going to go when it's congested. And everybody's had the experience at night of the network suddenly buffering and you can't watch Netflix because everyone else is watching at the same time. And as I said, by design, we avoid that. We make sure that under the worst conditions, you'll always be able to. That puts a burden on us to design the network with more bandwidth than you would normally use. But at the same time, because our technology allows us to do so relatively inexpensively, we can afford it and offer that kind of service. The last thing I wanted to mention is we also have a guarantee. And with our guarantee, it's satisfaction guaranteed for 30 days. You try it, you don't like it, you kick us out, we're gone. And we don't sign you up for contracts 2 years, 3 years, none of that. Our vision is you stay with us because you want to, not because you have to. So that's basically the gist of my presentation. About myself, very briefly, and this is because I don't like to brag, but I've been told I should brag. So I got a PhD from Caltech in 1986, and I've been working for 35 years in R&D mostly, and also in business. I ran a company in Calgary that some of you might know or might remember. It was called WiLAN. WiLAN is an Alberta company and has the unique distinction of having invented all the technology that we use today for wireless. Wi-Fi, 5G, 3G, not 3G, sorry, 4G, you name it. All the technology we use today was invented in Alberta by the small company that I became the CEO, of the privilege to become the CEO of for a few years. And we were basically promoting the whole, at the time, and believe it or not, the idea of broadband wireless was not accepted at all. And just as an anecdote to wrap it up, I had a meeting with an executive vice president from a very big company. I'll tell you what the company is later. And I was telling him we will be able to do mobile high-speed internet to cell phone. And this was in 2003, so before the invention of the iPhone. And so the guy tells me, why would you want broadband to your cell phone? I said, well, I could watch videos on my cell phone. And he said, who would want to watch videos on your cell phone? And I said, like, okay, I should. Anyway, the guy was from Samsung. And guess who's making billions of dollars today because people are watching videos on cell phone? So I've been at the forefront, and for me, this is another equally important solution that were provided. And I'm very privileged. I feel very privileged to have been a part of the Wireland story and also to be able to be part of the Mage story today. So that's who we are, what we are about, and why we're here.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that presentation. A lot of really, really good information. Does council have any questions? Councillor Auld.
Thank you, Acting Mayor. Thanks very much for your presentation. It's pretty cool stuff you're bringing forward. I see on the one map of Rocky Mountain House where you're showing where you can cover now. So in our industrial area, there's very limited internet service. There's no hard lines. Everything has to be off towers right now.
Yeah.
If we had businesses on board in that industrial area that wanted to go this route, how long would it take to be up and running on a decent?
Well, sorry, thank you. It doesn't take long. The moment, like the thing that takes the longest is actually the customer saying okay, and then Tim, from the moment we started working on Walking Eagle, how long did it take? Really, the time, not just the time to deploy, but between the moment we were told okay we could do it till we did it, how long did that take? And you know, frankly, it is very surprising, and I wanted you to hear it from the guy, not from me. Like I could be BSing, but yeah. Once we have, and you know, just the one little caveat I'd say is that we need to be able to reach that place. So if they're, you know, if it's kind of weird but interesting. If we have more customers, then our service is actually better. It's easier to do the connections and establish multiple data pipelines. So it's not like a limited resource that gets divided amongst people. If we have 6 or 7 customers that surround the POP, we can go with data pipelines to each one of them. That means that we could put up. So as an example of what I'm saying, in Bragg Creek, which is a little community of 400 homes maximum, when you go and extend all the way to Wintergreen or all the way to West Bragg, it's 400 homes. A capacity of our network there is 5.5 gigabits for just 400 homes. So take that, translate that here. The more customers we have, and once we reach our, you know, the level at which our guarantee is not going to be met, we are actually building other data pipelines to continue supporting them. So it's not a finite resource, and because we have access to fiber, which means that we can just purchase more from Clearwater County and continue pumping it out.
I do have a question. So right now you have the one pipeline to the Walking Eagle Hotel. Do you have plans for more?
Yes, absolutely, and that relies on Vince signing up people, and then he hands off to Tim to build it. That's basically our plan, is to continue offering service and basically follow the customers. As we launch and as we continue to do more marketing, more door knocking, and so on, and we get more people signed up, our hope is to continue expanding and provide a local support. So one of the things we, as a small company, even though this is 160 kilometers from, I don't know how much actually it is. It's not Calgary, but we try to maintain our local presence. With Tim is living in Leslieville, so he's minutes away from here when there's a service call or anything like that. And we have had as an experience overall, our ability to connect with our customers on a personal level has allowed us to maintain a very high level of satisfaction from our customers, despite the fact that sometimes, because we are a new technology and we hit glitches and we have to fix them, they've been patient and supportive all along, because I think our customer service team does such a fantastic job of staying in touch with them and explaining what's going on. And some of them actually seem to enjoy the fact that they're working with a leading edge company with all the problems that comes along with that. So sometimes our customers are our best testers of the performance, and they'll tell us, my Zoom call dropped today at 11:05. I got these emails myself. So in any case, but more customers means we expand the network more and more, and we add the services. Just also to throw this in to the mix, we realize that a lot of people get bundled services. They may have internet, they may have cable with the same company, and so on. So there's a reluctance sometimes to break the bundle. What we're doing right now we're investigating an IPTV solution that's licensed in Canada that would allow us to compete on the basis of a bundle and not just as internet service provider. So we're layering more services on our system in addition to the internet.
May I add something to that? Okay. Distinguished members of council, thank you very much again from my side. What I'd like to add to what CISO has shared with us today is that a few points from the sales, or what I like to see as community impact, because I value every moment that any one of the community members opens their door to me and just has a few moments to speak about their experience with their internet. One of the things that would help, or currently we have a plan for, is being a volunteer data relay. So if members of the community wanted to volunteer to do that, this would help us to reach those unreachable pockets a little quicker. They don't necessarily have to take our service on. And in doing so, correct me if I'm wrong, they would also receive some compensation for the minimal amount of usage that of electricity that may be consumed, that is being consumed by our nodes, and also gives us an opportunity to even set them up to try us out. And the common issue, or the common challenges, concerns that I face from our community members is that they're used to the way things were done. So one block is getting used to the way and technology is moving forward. For example, IPTV service. And between myself and also Tim, we go that extra mile for our clients, for the community members, people that are not so tech savvy, to set them up, their TV, and make sure everything is working for them the way that they're used to having it work. And I believe because of this personal and really human touch aspect of it, we are, dare I say, better than what the rest do and provide. And that's our aim, is to be a very strong portion of the community at any level, and every level, really. So inviting any members of council who want to be data relays for us. We would be honored to have that opportunity. Or anyone that you may know, or point us in the direction that, hey, you might want to look down this avenue because you have special information about that area. Yeah, that's it.
Yes, go ahead.
That was unscripted.
Does council have any more questions or comments right now? Okay, I'm not seeing any. Oh, Councillor Wald.
Just one quick, do you have business cards that we can pass out to members of the community?
I ran out because
No, but I'll.
I can share my details wherever it's appropriate to share that.
And, sorry.
Maybe you could email administration and then they could,
Yes.
Most certainly,
Yeah.
most certainly.
Yeah.
How do I get that email address?
yeah, we'll
Okay,
get,
thank you.
yeah, we'll
Thank
get you that
Yeah,
information.
sorry about that.
Absolutely.
I ran out of business cards a while ago, and I ran out of time to order new ones, unfortunately. Not very good move.
Yeah.
But you can see I'm not a good salesman.
Okay, not seeing any more questions, so thank you very much for
Thank
coming
you.
in this
Thank you
morning
for
and
having
and
me. Thank you.
presenting and giving us this valuable information.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to move on in our agenda to item 4.1, to adopt the council meeting minutes of January 7th, 2025. Has everyone had a chance to read those, and is there any errors or omissions or anything that needs to be changed? Nothing, just looking for a motion then to accept those minutes as presented. Councillor Auld.
I'll make the motion to adopt the regular council minutes of January 7th as presented.
Okay, thank you for that motion. Discussion, all those in favor? And that is carried. Moving on to item 5.1, delegation business, the Mage Networks presentation we just had. Do we have any comments or questions we need have or anything we want to do with that information? Are we just looking to accept that for information? Councillor Auld.
I'll make the motion to accept the delegation from Mage as information, but encourage any businesses and homeowners to reach out if they feel the need, and it could be a valuable service.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. Okay, so we have a motion. Any discussion? All those in favor? And that is carried. So moving on to new business, item 7.1, the request for decision on emergency repairs. And I see Mr. Shanks coming up.
Morning. Good morning, Council. Administration was required to make an emergency expenditure on a dump truck. The box, 10 years old, had failed in some pretty unique areas. To do the repairs to the truck, we're looking for $45,000 to replace the box. To do the, just to repair it, it's not feasible. We've reached out to a couple of the truck companies and they suggested to replace it. For the truck itself, the truck is, like I said, 10 years old. Cost us nothing other than regular maintenance. The truck's in actually really good shape. It was the box that let go. To do the repairs to replace the box, we'll probably gain 3 to 4 more years out of that unit. Only has 80,000 kilometers on the truck, so it's got lots and lots of life left in it once we do this repair. It was noticed after one of inspections that it had issues. The guys were using it on the road and the end gate tripped, dumping part of the load on the highway. That's kind of how we found the issues with this truck. So, yeah, the frame itself, it's a double framed. We go through inspections constantly with these units. So operators have done their part. The trucks go out to third party to get the inspections completed. So it was just fatigue of the materials inside the double box frame that you can't see. So that being said, we're seeking approval for the expenditure of $45,000 for repair of Unit 20 to come from Infrastructure Life Cycle Reserve. Do you have any questions?
Okay. I see Councillor Musker.
Thank you, Acting Mayor. To Mr. Shanks, is this a used box or a new box? And have you looked into options, other options or different options?
Yes, you can't buy a used box that's worth anything right now. It is a brand new box. The box that will be going on this truck was actually supposed to go on the brand new one that we had spec'd out and purchased last year. They just received the frame in Calgary, so the box is ready to rock with this unit. That's why turnaround is 2 to 3 weeks.
Councillor Ald.
Off the top of your head, what would be the price of a new truck?
A new truck,
What did we spend on that one we ordered?
over 300,000.
That's what I thought. And that, if we have to rent one, farm it out to a third party at $1,200 a day, we need it for another 2 months of the year. It's gonna be $60,000 just to rent or hire out a third contractor.
That is correct. Councillor Hutchinson, did I see you? Yes.
No, that was my question that
Okay.
Councillor All just did.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Councillor Musker.
Thank you. One more question for Mr. Shanks. This was a failure that had happened in a not easily spotted area, right? It was a surprise. Is this something that we're going to be keeping an eye on our other units and this unit going forward?
Yes, most definitely.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, do we have more discussion? Is anyone prepared to make a motion? Councillor Hutchinson.
Thank you. I'll make that motion. Be it resolved that council approves the expenditure of up to $45,000 for the repair of Unit 20 with the funds coming from the Infrastructure Life Cycle Reserve.
Okay, thank you for that motion. Do we have any more discussion on that motion? Seeing none, I will call that to a vote. All those in favor? And that is carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shanks. Moving on to item 7.2, the governance framework policy. Mr. Kraus.
Yeah, thank you, Acting Mayor. So this policy was presented to council at the last meeting. Council asked for an amendment to include contractors under the definition of administration. So that has been added into the draft policy and are looking for council's direction from here.
Okay, thank you for that report, Mr. Kraus. Any comments, questions? I know we discussed this previously, and that was the recommended change that we had to this. If not, we have a recommended alternative. Councillor Capero.
I'll go ahead and make a motion. Be it resolved that council approve the policy 001/2025 governance framework policy as presented and rescind policy 005/2010 policy framework guidelines.
Okay, thank you for that motion. Do we have any discussion on that particular motion? Seeing none, I will call that to a vote. All those in favor? And that is carried. Moving on to correspondence for action, item 8.1, the EDA conference. And who's going to speak to this? Mr. Kraus?
Yeah, so this is the annual conference of the EDA where typically some councillors go along with admin. So just to let council know, we have booked 5 rooms with 1 per staff. So we have 4 rooms booked if 4 councillors want to go. I mean, but if only 1 or 2 want to go, then that's fine because we can cancel the rooms.
Thank you, Mr. Kraus. I definitely would be interested in attending this conference. I'm not sure if there's any other councillors that are... Councillor Caprero.
Oh, no.
Oh. Councillor Hutchinson.
Thank you. Yeah, this is one of the better conferences that we've attended, full of very, very enthusiastic economic development people. And having said that, I would like to attend too.
Councillor Caprero.
I'd also like to attend as well, please.
And I know Councillor Schipple during the agenda review meeting had expressed interest that he would like to attend as well. Is there more discussion? Anyone else have anything to add? If not, Councillor Hutchinson.
Sure, I'll make the motion that councillors, start from that end, Chappelle, Caprero, Phillips, and Hutchinson attend the EDA conference in April 9th to 11th, 2025.
Thank you for that motion. Any more discussion on that motion? Seeing none, I will call out to a vote. All those in favor? And that is carried. So moving on to correspondence for information. We have some correspondence for information. Is there any one thing you wanted to bring out and discuss? Councillor Hutchinson.
Always. We've been working again hard on the community events. So we've, excuse me, we've planned a Family Day event, which will be happening Monday, February 17th from 1 to 3. We'll be doing a family skating party with games, events, hot chocolate cookies, and we are exploring, I guess we're going forward with a chili cook-off, and people will be able to, they'll be making their chili at their own homes, own residence, and then bringing it in a crock pot to win the opportunity to win a golden ladle. But it's you know, we're trying to design things and have events that are bringing the community together, and we thought having the chili cook-off would be a good way to start. It might just be 3 or 4 of the committee bringing chili, but regardless, it's a starting point for us. We are also looking ahead for Canada Day, which in the minutes of the meeting, we've been discussing soapbox races, possibly down the street here in front of the town office here, hot dogs, cake. What we're really trying to do is make sure that we're not conflicting with the events that are already going on in town for Canada Day. So we've got the museum typically does their pancake breakfast, and then the historic site always has events. So we're looking at 11:30, which would kind of fit in between both of those events. We'll have more details on that. Alberta Day again, we've reserved the big screen, so we'll be doing the outdoor movie as we did last year. We're possibly looking at going over into a 2-day event because Council's strategic plan has us doing a element of, what's the word? Cultural element in there. We're not sure what that looks like yet, but planning will be starting sooner than later because these things take time. So excited to be on this committee and bring what we can to you guys. We've got a great group of people that are enthusiastic and just wanted to share that with everyone. So look out, we'll have the details for for Family Day coming up. Probably tomorrow we'll start the posters and promoting that.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Hutchinson. Anything else we'd like to bring out of correspondence for information? If not, just looking for a motion to accept correspondence for information as information. Councillor Auld.
I'll make that motion to accept 9.1 and 9.5 as information.
Okay, thank you for that motion. Do we have any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, I will call out to a vote. All those in favor? And that is carried. Moving on to item 10.1, the action list. Mr. Kraus.
Yeah. Thank you, Acting Mayor. So just to go through the open items, so the first one is Canada Post super boxes in the industrial area. That is in progress with our communications department. ATCO franchise agreement, I just received a response from them yesterday, so I will be presenting that to council on February 4th. Next one, football loan. So we've gone through the process of advertising the loan, and through the time period for a petition, we have received no petition or comments back, so we'll be bringing back that for council's consideration on February 4th also. CAO evaluation, that's in your council's wheelhouse. Police Act amendments and the policing committee, so that letter has been sent out to the Minister of Public Safety, and we are still waiting for a response on that. The tax property, that is in progress right now.
Okay, thank you for that update. Do we have any questions for Mr. Kraus on the action list? Okay, seeing no question, Councillor Moosgar, I see your finger going for the light.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the action list as presented.
Okay, thank you for that motion. Discussion on that motion? Call that to a vote. All those in favor? And that is carried. Moving on to item 11, administrative inquiries. Does anyone have any administrative inquiries? I do have one. We had a meeting, this is probably in November, with the county council, and we had discussed at that meeting to set up regularly scheduled meetings to discuss future plans. And I was just checking to see how our regularly scheduled meeting dates have been coming along.
I think that's in council's strat plan, I believe. Those letters have not gone out yet. Council's also asked requests for regular meetings with Minister Nexon and First Nations. So that is still something on our to-do list to get those letters drafted and out to.
Okay, thank you. I just know it's something, if we don't make the meetings now, they will start running into conference season and such, and it'll be even more difficult, so they are being worked on. Okay. Any other administrative inquiries? Seeing none, do we have any notices of motion? Not seeing any notice of motion, so we will take a quick 5-minute break, and then we will go into closed session. Okay, welcome back to our regular council meeting. We are going to go into closed session, so I'm just looking for a motion to go into closed session. Councillor Caparo is making that motion. All those in favor? And that is carried, so we will move into closed session. and welcome back to our regular council meeting. We're coming out of closed session, and we just have one motion coming out of closed session.
I'll just make the motion to accept CAO dialogue for information.
Thank you for that motion. Discussion on that motion? Seeing none, I'll call out to a vote. All those in favor? That is carried. And with our meeting agenda completed, I'll call the meeting, an adjournment of the meeting at 10:45. Thank you.